Well, hello, I'm back. If you're new here, I'm Samantha, and this is my channel called Life Spells. And I did a whole video every day for a year and a few after, and then I went dead silent for like 3 days. So, first of all, I wanted to apologize. What happened is Friday came along, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to make a video today. And then Saturday came, and I was busy all day from sunup to sundown and after. And I was like, I don't feel like making one again today either. And then yesterday came along and the same thing. And I knew I was going to be back at it, after the weekend. But I gave myself space. And man, I changed so many things the last few days. And I know this sounds really weird. So I went from... I have an office upstairs, and I'm super bored being up there. Super bored. Like filming 368, I think, videos upstairs. Well, some of them were downstairs, I guess. I was outside for a while, and I just don't want to go outside because it's so humid and hot, and I just don't want to go out there to film right now. Maybe I will again later, but I was getting bored. And so with getting bored, that always causes me to want to make big changes. And so this house is pretty large. And so when I lived in apartments, normally I had a closet, a walk-in closet in most of the apartments. And when I was married back in the day, my ex-husband would be like taking a nap in the other room. And so I would go into the closet, close the door, and like do my homework in there because the TV would be on all the time. So that it was so quiet in there, and it was just like, it's peaceful. And of course, I'd have to leave the door cracked for the cats that we had back then, of course. And so, but I got a lot of peace being in this closet. Well, fast forward to 2015, and I watched the movie War Room, and they had basically a prayer closet where you go inside, the closet and pray. And so about, a year later, I was at this little flea market shop that I love to go to. And it's a little bit out of town. And I went in there one day, and there was this lady that was making all of these awesome handmade items from random estate sales. And they were all vintage items that she would turn into just random things. And she made this little hanging down thing. I should have brought it out here to show you, but it's like this little thing that it's just a hanger. You just hang it wherever, and it says War Room on it. And so I got that right after I watched the movie. And the movie is just so special. If you haven't seen it, it's like a religious movie, of course, but it's just beautiful. I just loved it. And that's where I got the, like that one video I did a few weeks back about something about letting go of your anger and imagine yourself washing their feet. Well, at the end of this movie, the husband ends up washing the wife's feet, and he hates feet. And it was just kind of like, a Jesus thing. It was a love thing, a way to love somebody and to shift your energy. And so anyway, I just love that movie so much. And I love the idea of a prayer closet. And so I did the weirdest thing. So I brought that chair I normally sit in, the little, it's a bungee cord chair or whatever. It's like a circular bungee cord chair, whatever it's called. I got it on Amazon, and it's really comfortable. And then I have this little table upstairs that's in the front of my couch up there. And so I brought both of those things down. I did some thinking before this. I was like, do I really want to do this? I was so bored upstairs. I was just so bored. My life force was just like gone. And I'm like, I don't want to be up here anymore. And it's hot up there, sometimes. And so I was like, I'm going to come downstairs and I'm going to go in that closet. And that closet became my place of focus again, which was my place of focus like 20 years ago. And I had this project I was finishing up, and I had to get this done over the weekend. And I was like, I worked from like probably 11 o'clock in the morning to like 11 o'clock at night on this, off and on. I did some walking in between and did some fun stuff in between. But man, I was on the computer for hours and hours. So I decided that that's my war room. The closet is going to be my new office. And now, so an AC unit broke or something's going on with it. So I was like, I'm not going to sit where I normally sit to do my sessions. So I'm like literally right outside the bedroom. There's a table right here. It works perfectly. And my energy has shifted so much. So now I have a war room I go to. And I can't wait because that's where I'm going to create my business, and I'm going to probably film in there too. So it's going to be kind of weird, I know, but I don't really care. I'm just being me. So it has just changed me so much. So I was like, I needed that reset button just for me to connect to me, because I had been recording so much, which I don't mind at all. It was just like, I did it as an experiment. I wanted to see when I would actually feel like doing a video again. And so, because like the obligation, we call it an obligation, but it wasn't really an obligation. It was just a challenge I set for myself. But for 365 days, knowing that I got to do this video today, it became an open loop of something for me to do, a task, right? And that's not a problem at all because I'm a task person. But I wanted to see what it felt like to not have to do a video. And so Friday, I was really tired from the week, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to give myself permission to not do one tonight. And I knew that I would get back into it again. It wasn't like, I'm never going to do this again. So I knew I would. But I was like testing myself just to see what my energy was telling me. And I was just listening to myself. And then Saturday came along, and I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to have time to even think about a video tonight. And that was no problem. And I finished everything that I needed to finish. And it was like the best day because I was putting me first, of course. And I was listening to my body and listening to my mind and taking care of myself. And then Sunday came along, and I was like, I'm not going to do it again. I'm just going to give myself this weekend to just chill. And not that the videos were like a bad thing whatsoever. I enjoyed making all of them. But it was just like, let's see what happens when I don't do a video. And the world didn't end, of course. I'm sure some of you thought I died or something. I'm sorry. I should have said something. I didn't even like really think about it. I was like, I'll be back. So it didn't bother me. Like I didn't really think too much about it. But I don't know. Maybe you guys worried. I don't know. And if you did, that's so sweet. But I just knew I was going to be back. And so here I am again. And I don't know what the future will hold. I don't know if I'll do this every day again, or I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm just kind of seeing what happens. But it's been a wild experience to do this. And I never wanted it to be a job. I always wanted it to be fun, and I wanted it to be spontaneous. And I think now it's going to be even more like that. Because I don't want to sit up in an office anymore and just sit there on camera. I think I want to be just in different areas, of course, but just be out in the world too. And maybe, sit in some parking lots and get out of the house and, just do some different stuff eventually. I think that and in the closet, of course, I'll be in there. And so I don't know, it just, something about this weekend gave me more life force. So I say all of that to say, check in with yourself. Make sure you're taking care of all of your needs. Make sure you don't have any open loops going that you could close off. And really think about self-care, big time. All of my sessions today, I had 4 today back to back, and I'm done early today, which is why I'm filming. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and film this video and get this done for the day. And then I'm going to watch a movie. Something happened in me over the weekend. So what happened is I redefined my business, what I want to do with it. And I also decided that I haven't had as much fun in my life as I've wanted to. And I need to inject more fun and more playtime. No, I got to do this and I got to do this. How many of you are task-oriented people? Nothing wrong with this. But how many of you are doing too many tasks? And how many of you are staying busy and productive? When somebody asks you how you've been doing, I've been good, but I've been busy. Everybody says they're busy. And it's like, and that's me too. And I get it. And I've realized that I'm kind of busying my life away and not having enough fun and not having enough playtime and not relaxing as much as I need to. And so these videos moving forward will be talking about, the same stuff we've been talking about, just different, I don't know, they're going to come from different energy. I don't know. I'm definitely changing day by day. Things are just, I've changed everything. I mean, it's so much personal stuff that wouldn't even make sense, but it's like, you never know what you're going to turn into when you just make one little decision. That might be that you need to work in your closet. I used to work in the closet, like I said, years ago, but Alex Hormozy, he's a big business guy. I really respect him. And I don't know if he does it now, but he would sit in a closet because that was his only way to focus. And so I remembered that. And then I remembered what I did previously 20 years ago. And I thought, okay, I've got to get this project done. Like, I've got to focus. And so I decided, well, I need no input. Like, I need no input. I need to not be able to look out at the beautiful nature and look out at the neighborhood and all this. Like, I need to have complete focus. And I got this little timer. He recommended this timer that you get. It's a Pomodoro timer. It's like, it's got different numbers on it, but I use the 25-minute one. And it just like, you flip it over and it'll start turning on. It's really cool. I got it on Amazon, but, and I just would set it for 25 minutes and then I would do a 10-minute walk afterwards. So every 25 minutes, I would get 25 minutes full of, focused work done. And then I would do some movement, and man, it was a fun day. It was just awesome. And so, so I changed my mornings too. Instead of, sitting at my desk, I get up, take care of the cats. They need taken care of course. And then I meditate. I do a Joe Dispenza meditation every morning, and it just has changed my life too. And then I would sit down and drink coffee and like look at my bank accounts, check the weather, check stuff. The checking. Like, let's check it later. Why do we have to check it right when we wake up? It was like input coming in all the time. Input. And so instead of doing that, I immediately do my 30-minute walk, and then I do an hour of either yoga or strength training. Today was strength training. And it doesn't put me behind, because sometimes I'd be behind a little bit. So therefore, I'm ready for the day a lot sooner, and then I can check everything later. But the point of all that was I recognized that I was putting too much into my brain right away in the day. Like, it was just too much. And so I encourage you to look at, where are you doing too much? Where are you thinking too much and putting too much in and not expressing enough? That's my biggest thing that I've realized is I haven't been expressing myself enough, and these videos have helped me tremendously. And thank you for listening and watching as always. I so appreciate all of you, because this has been a life-changing thing for me to do. And I've needed expression, self-expression for so many years. I can't even tell you. And that's what I'm going to do when I write some books and make some, whatever I'm making, a membership, classes. There's so many things I want to do. And I found that I want to get out of the house more. I found that I want to do more in-person things. When COVID came, it caused therapists to pretty much do telehealth, from home. And I used to see people in their homes for the first 6 years. And then when COVID came, that made me, and I was seeing people in an office too. But when COVID came, that's when I started my private practice too, was during COVID, right when it started. So, or a couple months before it started. So then we went to telehealth over the phone and over Zoom. And so I was at home all the time. And then I just got so used to that fast forward, here we are 6 years later, and I'm still kind of like in my little comfort zone at home. And I would see a few people at an office a few times for a while there, but I was just like, well, I can see more people because I'm at home and I can stack them and whatever. But now I'm done. Well, I'm not done, but I'm like, I've got to get out more. I got to get out of the house. I got to do stuff more, I got to just inject more fun in life, and even inject more fun while at home. And I've got to finish work early. I'm on the laptop all the time. I mean, I've gotten so used to doing that over the last, ever since I was a teenager. I was always on a computer. And I've realized that I've got to express. So I encourage you to look at, where are you not expressing yourself that you could be? That's something that's big. Where could you have more fun and more play in your life and curiosity, instead of just like judging everything and judging yourself? And so, and here's more for you. That was about me, so I'll get off of me. But that's what happened to me. I just needed like a little, not even a break, just like a reset, just to kind of see, like experiment with what it felt like to not do videos. And it was a little weird. The first night it was just like, wow, I don't have to do one. This is strange. And it kind of made me sad a little. And I was like, that's weird, but I knew I was going to do it again, so it didn't make me that sad. But I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, I wonder how this is going to feel tomorrow. And then it was just it was perfect, because I needed a weekend. I really did. I needed that time to kind of move out of the office and come down here to the closet. I know that's so strange. I know that's crazy. I don't care. And I love it. There's no distraction in there, except the cats love to come in there and mess with everything. Of course, why would they not? But I love it in there. It's just quiet and I can focus. And I think that's what we're craving sometimes is focus. So here we go into the sessions I had today were just amazing. I brought a different energy into them today. I could definitely feel it. And all of them had the same kind of theme again. It was just like, we are not believing in ourselves. We are not speaking to ourselves nicely and kindly. We're not loving ourselves. Do you actually like yourself? I want you to ask yourself that. Do you like yourself? And do you love yourself? Do you even like yourself? And because a lot of times when we don't like ourselves or love ourselves, we're really treating ourselves badly. And part of treating ourselves badly, I feel like, is not believing in ourselves and not saying that we can do something. I had to tell a lady, I'm like, you got to write on a piece of paper, or not a piece of paper, a note card, 10 note cards, write I can on them and stick them all around your house. And they're a reminder for you that you can do anything that you want to do. And we have that limiting belief, of course, like somebody told you can't do something, or you were diagnosed with something. And because I have this diagnosis, I can't do this. And then we take that into every facet of life and we think that we can't do anything and we're not confident. And I told a client today, I said, I don't want to think like anybody else because, and I don't want to generalize too much, but I do know that there is a mental health crisis and a physical health crisis going on. There's crises going on. That tells me that our thinking is not right. Right meaning good for us. And we have to learn to think right for us. We have to think with purpose and intention instead of the way we've been programmed to think. And there's never been more, mental health diagnoses going on, and physical health is just crazy. And so we've got to start thinking differently. And so I always say, like, I don't want to think like anybody else because everybody else is depressed and anxious, and I can't be that. And I want to be the leader, and I want to, I have to think before I speak. And that's hard whenever you're triggered by certain things and certain people, but you have to go within and correct it. And you can correct it immediately. Even if you open your mouth and say something that isn't the best, go within and correct it, apologize immediately. I was watching Craig Rochelle, it's hard to say his name, with Life Church. I was watching his sermon yesterday about half-truths, like how we say I'm fine when we're really not fine with our partners. And he's talking about relationships, but you can take this into with your kids or with anybody, really. I just think we should live from this, where always be honest with what you're feeling, speak your truth, always speak your truth. Basically, like we say we're fine when we're not, we're only basically saying half of the truth with how we're feeling, and therefore we're not really connected to ourselves, and we're not connected to our partner or our friend or whoever. And if something bothers you, tell them, and tell them why. And it's not to get them to change. That I think, I can't remember if he left this in or out of his sermon, but I say, we don't do things to make others change. We do things because that's who we are. We live from that way. And so I kind of think of it as like living as Jesus was. He didn't want to create followers. He wanted to create leaders. And so I respect that a lot. And so it's like, well, what characteristics does he have that I want to embody? And we don't preach the word, we live the word. The word can mean anything to you. It can mean the Bible, or it can mean a book you read, like that you really respect, or a person that you respect. Are you living what they teach? And are you teaching what you've learned by living that way? And I think that's what Jesus wanted us to do, obviously, is he wanted us to embody the way that he teaches. And so that's what I want for everybody to do is, and it's none of my business if anybody does, of course, but I just put it out there. But it's like live the things that I say that work for you, live them. Like, remember to live them. Don't just like go to church for an hour a week, or don't go to therapy for an hour a week. Like, live the skills that you learn in those places, and the books that you read. Live those skills, practice them. Don't just take notes for a million years like I did, and they're just sitting there. And yes, I went back and I was living some of them, but I will tell you now, I'm really focused on living them now. And I had to decide that that's what I'm doing. I'm changing, and nobody's going to make me not change anymore. You know, I'm not going to let anything external control me anymore emotionally. And I'm going to be the leader that I know that I am and that I know I can be. I never thought I was a leader. I never wanted to be a leader, but that just changed in me. And I always have been a leader, actually. I was just too afraid to feel the power of that and the sovereignty of that. And I know Bashar has talked about, are you afraid of your power? That's a big thing that I think a lot of us are afraid of. It's like, who would I be if I actually believed that I had this innate power in me? And who would you be without your problems? Who would you be without your complaints and your... I just spit. I don't know if anybody saw that, but so that happens sometimes. But who would you be if you didn't complain? Who would you be if you didn't have any worries? And I have a bracelet. I don't have it on right now, but I got it from this guy on YouTube, actually. And it says, don't worry. And as a reminder, and it says, you are enough. There's another bracelet that says, you are enough. And I'd love to make some of these things. I will be making some of these things too. But I think it's words are spells, just like my channel, like life spells. Like, everything is a spell. Everything, we're under a spell from the past most of the time. So it's like, what spell are you going to cast over your life now that is healthy for you and that actually serves you and does not hurt you? You deserve to be served and not hurt. And so we've got to think about what we think about, and think before you speak. Think before you think. Really think about that. Think before you think. Should I even be thinking this? Is this even worth it? Is this thought worthy of me to even think? Really think about these things and let them sink in. And there was something, I wrote some stuff on a napkin. Really care about what you think about you, not what anybody else thinks about you. It doesn't matter. And that's what, like, I thought about this closet thing. I was like, God, should I even like tell them I'm going to be sitting in a closet? That sounds a little strange. And then I was like, yeah, because that's me. Like, what if I am strange? What if I am weird? Who cares? Who cares what anybody thinks about you? You need to care what you think about you. And that's what is the most potent medicine for changing our self-concept. It's like, care about what you think about you. That's what really matters here. Nothing else really matters. And that's when I say I don't want to think about, or I don't want to think like anybody else thinks. I want to think like I think, because what you think is so important. You always have to know that. What you think is the most important thing, and what you think is creating your life. So don't let other people think for you. Don't adopt their beliefs and their thoughts. And so it's really humbled me over the years, of course, to do therapy with people, because I would think that I knew something, and then it turned out I don't know anything. I got to get real creative. And so over the years, I learned to get really creative. And then now, even if I think I know something, I'm like, nope, I'm not even gonna say it like that. Like, I'm gonna let this person have what they need to have. I'm not gonna suggest this or that like I thought I used to need to do. It's just like, I want everybody to feel as great as they want to feel. And I'm gonna suggest this, and I'm never gonna put down what they're doing. Everybody is doing something because they think that that's the best thing for them to do. And I'm no longer going to judge that. That's my practice in personal life. That's going to be a big one in personal life. And so I'm trying to look at people through God's eyes as much as possible. And I'm trying to never judge. I want to get curious. So that's what I encourage you to do, is instead of judging others and judging yourself, get curious about why would I judge? Like, why can't I just be curious about this behavior? Why do I have to judge it? And why do we have to make such mean meanings about things and bad meanings about things that hurt us? Like, why do we do that to ourselves? So it's just like a really a really good practice, I feel, is like really just go within and think about, what are you thinking about? Do I even need to think these thoughts? Where do they come from? Why are they hurting me or serving me? And looking through God's eyes at people, I think that's really important. And I did have a client that was having trouble with, it was the same thing about like something had happened, and certain people weren't acknowledging what happened. They weren't acknowledging the feelings of the person, really. And so, of course, there's the thing that happens that's not getting acknowledged, and then the feelings underneath what happened aren't getting acknowledged too. So it's like a double whammy. So, and trauma, when a trauma happens, it's normally not the thing that happened. It's what happens afterwards, where that person wasn't supported enough, and then that traumatizes the person worse. So they wanted maybe some acknowledgement for what had happened, and maybe like, oh, I'm sorry that happened, something like that. And so we came up with, always speak your truth. We're always seeking the truth from everywhere we look. And your truth is within you. So if something is bothering you, say it. Tell the person what you need. That doesn't mean they're going to give it to you yet. That doesn't mean they have to give it to you. But you have spoken your truth, which means you haven't abandoned yourself. You've stayed with yourself. Because if you're looking externally, you've just abandoned yourself. And now these people are abandoning you. So what if that is the mirror? What if that's a mirror? You're abandoning yourself, expecting somebody else to not abandon you, but they're your mirror. They're abandoning you while you just did that to yourself. Think about that. Isn't that interesting? So everybody is a mirror. They're teaching you something about you. And so it was a very beautiful moment, because I could see that their eyes were brighter, because it was like, connection to you is the most important thing. You don't need to look externally for validation. You give it to yourself. When you give it to yourself, it's funny, you'll get more of it. It's very interesting how that works. But if you're depleted, other people are going to deplete you. You'll just look back at your life and how many, like, ask yourself, look at all the things that have happened and say, gosh, was I feeling good about myself at the time? Was I talking nicely to myself? Or was I expecting bad things to happen? And was I thinking that I'm not worthy of good things and that I'm not deserving of good things? And was I hating on myself? And I talked with another client about the inner gangster. You got the inner gangster inside you that's going to come out. This person had a wonderful weekend, had great talks with somebody, and then goes home and sits there and wonders, did I say too much? Was I too much? And I said, that's that inner gangster coming out. You got to rip the chain off and throw it away. Say, you're no longer, I'm assuming they're wearing a chain. That doesn't match you. That's not who you are. That's just a conditioned little demon inside your head, or a gremlin is what I call them, not a demon, a gremlin. And the inner gangster, whatever you want to call it, inner critic, inner mean person, just not the true you. And so you have to notice when that happens, and notice the beliefs. Where did that even come from? Why do I even go there? Like, what is it about me that I just have to go there? So why do I have to go there in my mind? So you want to question yourself. Don't question other people. Don't worry about other people. Worry about you. Go bring that energy back. That's another thing. Somebody else, same thing. I said, you gotta bring your energy back to you. Anytime you're thinking outside yourself, there was a relationship issue. This person missed their partner. It's been like a year and they still miss them. And I said, it's not the person. You connected to you while you were with this person. That's the only reason they brought you joy. It wasn't them bringing you joy. It was you actually connecting to you and your joy. And you thought that they did that to you, that it was them. But you can connect to that anytime you want to. And we don't even know that we can do that. And there are so many ways to do it. And we'll be talking about this in the videos moving forward, different things that you can do to connect to that. And, but I connect to that through remembering who I am. That's really helped me. Remembering that I am all that is. I am the light. I am love. I am abundance. I am peace. And when I connect to that and I remember, that's my safe place, man. I go back there all the time. I go there all the time, and nothing can take that away. And so, and that's your life force. That's when you really feel your life force, is when you connect to you. And then what's funny is, of course, you get all those manifestations around you that that just come out of nowhere because you're ready for them. So every single thing in your life is there for a specific purpose. So the AC going out, hilarious. It made me think, well, I don't want to sit here anymore. And you know what? I haven't really wanted to sit here anyway. So I've been doing what I really didn't want to do. Something was calling me elsewhere, but I wasn't following the call. I was just like, I don't really like this. And then I was switching other things up. But then the AC had to go out for me to be like, I'm going to switch rooms. And so it's just so funny how things like that can happen. And of course, a week ago, I went to urgent care for my stomach issue. And it was like, as soon as I started shifting, because I knew it was an emotional thing. I knew it was. And as soon as I started shifting and getting the life force back in, it was time for a level up over the last couple of weeks. Time for a level up. That's all that it was. The stomach has like settled down, and it caused me to not drink as much coffee. It caused me to change my routine around, change where I'm doing my work. It changed everything. So it was something calling me to change those things just out of nowhere, out of the oblivious, as Esther Hicks called it, out of the oblivious. So we've got to remain connected. And so I've never, again, I leveled up. I definitely did a couple levels over the last couple weeks, in that I want to have more fun in life. And I want to be more of me as possible, as much as possible. Be more of me means like, man, like, it's even like down to, it's everything. I mean, it's anything you can think of. I'll go into another time talking about that kind of thing. It's kind of personal stuff too, but just like being afraid of being judged, I guess, or 40 in your 40s is a weird time. It's like a weird time. It's like, I don't know, that's a whole other video right there, for us in our 40s women. So it's different. I don't know how it is for men. I'd love to hear how you guys feel too. But it's crazy. It's different. And, but I'm learning about also one more thing. I did hear, this is interesting. I saw on this podcast, I think it's called Next Level Soul Podcast. I really like that one. And he has a lot of channelers on there. He's had Bashar come on there before. And this woman named Angie, I think her name is Angie Hipple. I think that's her name. She channels everybody, I guess. And she was channeling Jesus, Yeshua. She was channeling Confucius, Lao Tzu, Mary Magdalene, who else? Oh my gosh, Krishna. It was the most interesting thing what was coming through. And one of the things that came through with Jesus talking was he said to not, basically to not worry about these sacred texts anymore, including the Bible. He said to write your own, trust your own wisdom, and that your own wisdom is within you, and to write your own, which is weird because I am writing my own. And I thought, and I've put pressure on myself over the years to like collect all this information and make sure I'm teaching the right things and and it gets really overwhelming. And I think that's where I lost my life force, my full life force. It was like I was putting so much pressure on myself. And so I want to help you guys. I want to give you permission to take the pressure off yourself and not carry so much. I was carrying too much too. And sometimes we don't even know we're carrying it. But we are, and there's no way that I would have been able to figure that out had I not been doing these videos daily, every day, just like processing out loud like I'm doing. And so I wish I would have been able to record my sessions today. You can't do that, of course, because it's all confidential. But man, we got into some deep stuff. All ages of people I saw today. It was amazing. Age 20s to 80s. It was just awesome. And the wisdom in the young ones. And the older ones, just amazing. And so, I think I'll leave you with just remember to think before you think, and start valuing yourself, start appreciating yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. Remember that. What you appreciate appreciates. You gotta, and you gotta observe yourself. Like, the observer effect is like what we observe is what it is. So like, the way you're looking at something is the way you will see it. So I encourage you to look at yourself differently, because how you look at yourself is how you're going to see yourself. Like how you think of yourself is how you're going to see yourself. So you want to see yourself as valuable and see yourself as just amazing. And in every single way, and start embracing who you are, and never, we got to we got to stop judging ourselves and stop judging others. Stop thinking we know what's best for everybody else. You got to know what's best for you first. And I am guilty of that too. I would always tell people like, oh, I think you should do this, or you should do this. And it's so much, you think you're helping people. And I want to take the should out of vocabulary too. Stop shoulding all over yourself, as they say. Should is not a good word. It's like, what do I get to do today? Instead of, oh, I should do this, or I should have done this. It's like, everything is in perfect synchronicity. No matter what's going on, everything is perfect. Nothing will show up that wasn't meant to show up. Everything is relevant for you, or it wouldn't be here. Including you. You are relevant, or you wouldn't be here. Like, everything is perfect. And that's why with the videos that I took the little break, I was like, this is perfect. Like, I needed that break, and maybe others needed a break from me, because that was a lot of videos. So it was a lot. So, and they're long too. And I'm sure this one's long too. 36 minutes. Wow. There we go. I had to get it out. It's been 3 days. I haven't been able to talk. It's like, I got to get it out. So here we are. So yeah, that's what's been happening. And there's more to it. But, yeah, every day, just tell yourself, every day I'm getting better and better. Every day I'm getting better and better. Every day I'm feeling better and better. I'm getting stronger every day. Life is great. Life is great every day. No matter what's going on, I choose to see it this way because it helps me, it serves me, and doesn't hurt me. I don't deserve to hurt myself anymore. Start saying those things to yourself, and look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you exactly as you are. You got to say that to yourself, and you got to pass that on to anybody else who might need to hear it, because people need to hear it. And I had a client that was talking about helping homeless people, and if they're on the side of the road, always ask them if they're hungry. And I had just never thought to do that. I've given my lunch to someone before. I remember seeing a pregnant girl on the side of the road about 10 years ago, and I just gave her my lunch. And I've done that, but it didn't occur to me for some reason to just roll the window down and be like, are you hungry? And just take that extra 15 minutes out of your day to go get somebody some food, And so it really, it's like everything that, okay, my SD card ran out. Sorry about that. I was talking too much. I wasn't paying attention to the 0% up there. Anyway, I think I left off with helping homeless people, asking people if they're hungry, taking time out for that. I think I hope that's where I left off. But anyway, my point to that was everything is a co-creation, and we should all there's that should. We get to do acts of kindness, and studies have shown. We don't really care about studies so much because we can become our own evidence, of course, but studies have shown that it helps your immune system, helps others' immune systems as you talk about it with others. If you say that you did something kind for somebody, it'll help their immune system. It's amazing, and it reduces inflammation, and all the good things that you can imagine happen just from acts of kindness. So it's really gotten me thinking about what can I do that's kind on a daily basis for somebody. So it's really humbling me and leading me back to love, and that's who we are, is love. And if we can just remember that every day, a lot of my clients will say, if I could just remember this, and I'm like, write it down, put it somewhere where you can actually see it, have the word remember, just remember, that's it. And so yeah, take a break when you need to. Like, I just needed that break. It wasn't that I hated what I was doing. I was just like, I think I need a little break. I need a reset. And I'm going to figure this out, what I'm going to do moving forward. And it felt great. And that changed me too. So everything is a change. We're always changing billions of times a second, of course. We're not in the same body billions of times a second. We're just changing all the time. And transformation never ends. You're always transforming, and you're always growing and evolving into the new you. And just enjoy every moment of it. We don't have to worry so much. Don't have to worry. Our brains are programmed. They're not going to help us do anything much. They're just going to continue to worry. So we've got to do something to disrupt that. And I think instead of worrying, we should play more, and we should have more fun. And what would that do if we replaced worry with fun? Intentionally, some kind of play. some sort of play. I'm just looking, oh man, I'm looking at doing all kinds of fun stuff in the future. I can't wait. I'm like a little kid again. I don't know what happened. I aged backwards. I became a little kid again. I want to go do fun things. I guess I've been cooped up in the house just way too much for so long, and blame COVID for it. But I would have been out and about all the time. But I definitely could have injected more fun into my 30s, a little more fun. I had a lot of fun in my 30s, but and I've had fun in my 40s too. But like, I'm ready to like really have some fun, like more fun, and I need like probably 30% more fun in life. Like, oh, I need more than I'm getting. So I'm going to do that. And of course, work is fun for me. So, and this is fun. Like all this is fun, but I need to do like intentional playing of some sort. And I'm not sure what that looks like just yet, but I've got some ideas. So yeah, I encourage you to just have more fun. There you go. There's the crux of the video. So yeah, I think I'll let you go. Been talking enough, yapping it up, rambling enough. So I'll be back, I'm sure, tomorrow. I'm not going to say I'm going to be back every day, but I might be. I don't know. We'll see. I might be doing some lives. I'm trying to figure out my camera situation, and I'm trying to connect my camera to my laptop, and to do that properly. I have a way to do that, and I've already tried it, but it didn't look right. So I'm trying to figure it out. And I could do some lives and stuff, and that would be better to do that. And I might just be out and about on my phone. Who knows? But it'll change moving forward a little bit. It'll evolve as I'm evolving. So I hope you guys are evolving too in your own way. I know you are every single day. We're doing something. So you're transforming every day. And I intend that this helped you in some way. And if it did, please share it with somebody else who might need to hear this long ramble today. And I'm back. I'm not dead. I'm alive, very much alive. Just, needed that break and the little reset button. And gave me more power, gave me more focus. So maybe you need that too. Maybe you need a break. Just give yourself permission to take a break. The world's not going to end if you take a break. In fact, it'll be better off if you do take a break. So, and remember to love yourself. Tell yourself in the mirror that you are so loved. Tell yourself, I love you exactly as you are. And remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. And I'll see you tomorrow, most likely. Bye.